Greetings, everyone. I am Trevor Horn from BVarsity Live, and I'm actually here with a special guest, AJ Shearon, the North High boys basketball coach. The reason AJ is on this live broadcast is because he and their athletic director, Brian Hewins, and your principal, Mark
Balch.
Yeah, they all decided to open the doors tonight for Foothill as the Trojans, the #1 seed in the CIF Southern California Division 5 bracket, is hosting tonight #2 Southwest High School out of San Diego. We are about 88 minutes from tip-off, and there are already fans lining up since, what, 3:30?
3:30. The first fans got there at 3:30.
So what happened was you had this Foothill gym that has been one of the most incredible environments that I've seen covering high school basketball over the last 3 state playoff games. Packed to the gill, fans turned away before tip-off. And then tonight, Southwest administrator said, hey, we're bringing a couple Rooter buses.
Right.
That gym is not big enough.
Right.
Something needs to happen, because if you bring in, because the CIF paperwork says, the handbook states that half the gym has to be accommodated to the visiting team in the SoCal regional game.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be fair to all of those fans in Bakersfield. It wouldn't be fair to those fans from San Diego coming up in this rainstorm.
Right.
So, when the option came up, you guys jumped at it, right?
Yeah, I think that's important to clear up, like we talked about. It's not a money grab by anybody or anything like that. It's clearly about making sure that we can get as many fans in the building as possible. And so when we were contacted by Foothill's administration about being a site for this game, we were really excited. Obviously my relationship with the Foothill staff and being SEYL school and knowing those guys like I do, we thought we'd do everything in our power to make it a real home court advantage for them and keep it a local event where the people in our community can come out and support Foothill.
What's been the response that you've had over the last 36 hours since that decision was made?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. Our school and our community is buzzing, so I can only imagine we're getting a little taste of what Foothill has right now. But we're really excited. This gym was built about 18 months ago with the idea in mind to be able to host showcase events for Kern High School District, and there's no bigger event than Foothill making the Southern California Regional Final. So we feel really blessed to be able to step up in a couple days' notice and get the gym prepared and host it, and we're expecting a big crowd. We think we're going to sell it out tonight for the first time.
And historically, it's not just Foothill playing tonight out of Kern County for SoCal Championship. The McFarland girls are at home in their home gym as a #1 seed in Division 3, hosting #6 Palisades out of Pacific Palisades. So what you have right now, ladies and gentlemen, is a county like Kern that has had 4 teams total since 1981 that have played for a state championship. Total. Two girls teams. In 1989, Wasco lost a D4 state title game. 2 years later, Rosemont lost a D5 girls state title game. Those are the only 2 girls teams ever from Kern County to play for a state championship. Last one being in 1990. What were you doing in 1990?
I was in kindergarten.
Exactly.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I was in like 5th grade, I think. And then on the boys' side, the first one, Foothill. We've seen the banner. You see the banner every time you walk into the gym. 1988 D1 title. Every time you go into East Gym, another SCYL opponent of yours. 1994 D2 title. That's it. So we have not had a state championship team, a team in the state championships in 25 years. When you think about what you've been watching in basketball in Kern County, and you think of what's going on in your gym tonight, what's going on in McFarland, and what could happen Friday, especially if Foothill wins, they play at noon on Friday at Golden One Center in downtown Sacramento. If McFarland wins, they play the very next game at 2 o'clock. I use the word historic. Do you disagree with that word?
No, like you said, being around local basketball really since 2005, we haven't had anything of this stature.
Well, we haven't had a team in this game on the boys' side since Garces in 2003.
And even more so than, it's not even just the specifics of the game or the specifics of the state championship. The town is really abuzz right now with what Foothill's doing. It's not just that they're winning games. I think it's that it's a non-traditional school in terms of our modern basketball history. Foothill is not a school. It's been a destination school for kids as they're growing up. I want to grow up and play at Foothill someday. But with West coming in and changing the culture, it is. It's now a big-time program that's not just known in the section and in the city, but across the state. And I think our town really likes to get behind movements like that. I remember when BHS won a state championship in football a few years ago with
2013.
with Sonny Rufus and those guys. The town did the same thing. Even though I was at Liberty at the time, I made my way down to LA and watched the state championship game because I wanted to support Bakersfield.
That was the last football game that I covered as a reporter in Sacramento before I moved here.
Absolutely.
Coincidentally.
Against Del Oro.
Yep.
And so the same thing's happening. I mean, I've been contacted by coaches from schools all across the city, multiple college coaches coming into the building tonight. It's just a showcase event.
This guy. Say hi, C's.
Hey, what's up, yo? These are my guys, bro. Young Trevor right here, you feel me?
Okay, go warm up. Cesar Valdez, senior point guard, senior shooting guard out of Frontier. But yeah, sorry, AJ.
Yeah.
I saw Cesar coming up.
No,
I knew he was
no.
gonna
So
do
I
that.
think we're really excited to have the whole town in here tonight. It's not just a state championship thing. It's that Bakersfield has one boys basketball team left playing, and they're here tonight. And I think everyone wants to be here to see that.
Well, and it's not just big for Kern County either. There are 6 Central Section teams
Absolutely.
playing tonight. You have Clovis West girls hosting Sierra Canyon in the Open Division SoCal Championships.
At Buchanan
That game
High
is
School,
at
right?
Buchanan, exactly. My alma mater.
Yeah.
Because the Open Divisions, the host team cannot host. It has to be at a local facility. Like I think, like Sheldon is hosting on
Cosumnes Rivers, right?
Yeah, Cosumnes Oaks High School.
Right.
Or is it Cosumnes River College?
Yeah, I think it's CRC.
It is
I think
CRC.
it's
But you have everybody else is hosting somewhere regionally close to them. Emmanuel boys, they're in the D3.
Yep, they're at their place.
They're at that place in the Northern California D4. They're playing Wood, the 6th seed out of Vacaville. Yep. And then on the north side of this D5 bracket, number 2 Dinuba is at number 1 Mount Shasta.
6.5 hours, I think, is what they said.
Yeah.
On the ride up,
and
at 6.5 hours.
How cool would that be if 2 Central Section teams played for a state title in basketball?
And I think the reality is, here in Bakersfield and across the section, we look at Division I, right? Division I, they call it the Power League in SWIL. Across the section, Division I gets the most publicity. But as we get down here into the final remaining teams from the state, we have 2 Division III teams in Emmanuel and Dinuba, and 1 Division IV team in Foothill. And I think it's really exciting for us lower level schools to see that, hey, if you do the right things, if you buy in, if you work hard, you have an opportunity to play even longer than some of these other schools that might be getting more pub or more hype or more regard in the section. Because D3, having 2 teams in there, D4 with Foothill being the Valley champions,
and D5,
really
you have
exciting.
a chance with Brothers to have a second consecutive D5 state champ.
After
when
Sierra
Sierra
Pacific
Pacific won it last year, Crothers is on the road at number 1 St. Bernard in NorCal. St. Bernard, you know where that is? That's Eureka.
That's in
even
Eureka.
farther.
That's just west, right? Just west
It's
of
just
Mount
west,
Shasta.
but the problem with Eureka, though, with everything else, you either got to go up the 101 or you got to go up the 5 to Reading and cut over, and it's like switchback.
Yep.
So, I mean, it is a long, long trip. My brother used to live up in Crescent City. I mean, it's an 8-hour drive from Sacramento up there. So, I mean, those are treks that they have to make. The San Diego team obviously had to come over the Grapevine in this rainstorm.
And I heard they traveled today. I talked to their coach earlier. They just traveled this morning. So they've had a long day in the buses, and I think that's something that's going to play to Foothill's advantage tonight.
So, going off more about Central Section, 6 teams in the regional finals. The winner moves on to state championships. Only twice has 3 teams from the Central Section played in the same year in the state championship. We've never had 2 teams going against each other. 85 and then 88.
Wow.
The last one was 88 when Foothill won the state title. So when you look at it, historically, this is an enormous night.
Absolutely.
Not just for Kern County, not just for Bakersfield, McFarland, but for the Central Section as a whole. And then for these 2 teams, it's really interesting when you think about, you talk about West building up the program at Foothill.
Right.
These 2 numbers threw me off. You have 2 teams. You have Southwest went 22 and 104 from 2012 to 2016. Had a 1-win season in there. While Foothill in that same time span went 24 and 91, had a no-win season in 2013.
Right.
So you look at 2 teams tonight that are seeing, new success they hadn't had before.
Right.
One last thing before we go, AJ, before this one starts. Everybody talks about the transfers that come into Foothill.
Yep.
But it's only 2. It's Elijah Seals and it's Warren Stingley.
Yep.
You have 2 4-year senior starters. One in Squid Turner is a 4-year senior starter.
4-year program guy.
Yeah, 4-year
Cesar
program
Valdez.
with Cesar Valdez.
Right.
And then you've got a guy like Jaden Phillips who may not have started his high school freshman year at Foothill, came in January, 2nd semester, and is a legend. It's a legendary name.
Right. Right.
with his uncle, Reggie
Absolutely.
Phelps, on the
Absolutely.
88
Legendary
championship.
Foothill name. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you look at that, these are still homegrown kids, minus 2 starters.
Yeah, and I think for Foothill, at this point, we've all been together as programs for so long that the transfers, whether you started here, whether you came here mid-season, whether you came here 5 games in, they're all here. And these guys have been playing long enough. And I think everyone in town, including us who played Foothill early in the year, when you see the Foothill team that takes the court tonight and has taken the court the past week and a half, that team is extremely different than the team that started the year. Coach Wes and Coach Damo and those guys have done a great job of blending those teams together and getting them moved forward towards this ultimate goal. They're growing and getting better and better every single day.
Now, this team hasn't lost since they lost to you
Yep.
at their place by 1 point
Yep.
back on January 19th.
Yep.
What is the biggest difference you've seen in this Foothill team since that night to tonight?
2 things. I think specifically on court, Elijah Seals has really decided that he's going to be a dominant force offensively, and that's something he wasn't doing early in the year. I know the first time we played Foothill, he was 1 of 11 from the field, and just wasn't really a factor offensively. As they've progressed through the season and watching them play now, he's a 10, 15 shot a guy at night, but he's getting great high percentage shots. So on court offensively, he's a force. Overall, I think the cohesion for Foothill has finally come together. That's something they really struggled with earlier in the year. Having guards like Jaden, who's a shoot-first guy a lot of the times, it took a little while for him to figure out when to pick his spots, when to go, when to get Squid a look, when to get Warren a look. And I think over the course of the year, Coach Wes and those guys have finally got them to a cohesive place where you can tell they love playing together on the court.
Okay. What's your outcome tonight?
Foothill big. Foothill big. I've had the ability to watch Southwest San Diego a little bit, and they're a good program. They've done a lot of really good things. But when you look at Division 5, you look at Foothill, what probably has 6 college basketball players on their team. I think not only tonight, but I'm anticipating on Friday that there's going to be another state title banner hung in their gym.
If they win tonight, you going on Friday?
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
AJ, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. So like we said, we are now 75 minutes away from the start of the Southern California Regional Championship basketball games. We have number 1 McFarland hosting number 6 Palisades at McFarland tonight in the D3 SoCal Finals. And then right here at North High, the doors are going to open in 18 minutes. So if you get here early, because this place is going to get here as early as possible. This place will set out. You have number 1 Foothill hosting number 2 Southwest High School out of San Diego in the D5 Boys SoCal Championship. Get here early if you want to get a seat, because it will sell out. Fans been here since 3:30. I'm Trevor Horn. Thank you to AJ, Shearon, Cruz. What's up? We'll see you. Follow us on Twitter for updates all night.